Maybe it's happened to you, maybe you've seen it happen to someone else. You spill a glass or lose your keys or wallet or something else. You forget something important or something not that important, but it matters to you anyway. And as soon as your mishap has registered, the mental onslaught of criticism begins. You idiot, it usually says. I'm so stupid, I never get anything right, I always mess up. I'll never be a normal human being. What is wrong with me? And before you know it, you've spiraled down into this disproportionately aggressive self-denigration over something objectively quite unimportant. Notice how these thoughts often deal in absolutes. Much like should, could, and would, they bombard you with the weapons of always, never, and forever, of your character and destiny. They are unbalanced and unkind. They don't account for your humanity. They don't offer you the perspective that it is very normal for human beings to be forgetful, clumsy, and at times careless, that it doesn't make them or you awful and unworthy of ever receiving kindness and goodness ever again. No. These thoughts are purposefully isolating, focusing on your flaws and how uniquely awful they are. That out of all the people in the world, you must be the most forgetful, clumsy, careless, and stupid, and for that you deserve all the bad things that come to you, especially feeling bad about yourself. You often hear people who are encouraging you to be nice to yourself say, you wouldn't treat your friend like that, or that you should be kind and talk to yourself like a friend. When things like this happen, the problem with this when you're dealing with entrenched self-hatred is the difference in how you would react to a friend's mishap, mistake, or moral failure versus your own. The difference is that you like your friends and you don't like yourself, and that means talking to yourself like a friend is only going to feel disingenuous and fake, which adds fuel to the fire of the disrespect you already have for yourself, and you're less likely to carry on trying. This is because if you dislike yourself, your internal locus of evaluation is off. Your locus of evaluation is the term coined by American psychologist Carl Rogers. He says it is that which people refer to in order to make judgments about themselves, others, and the world. Locus is Latin for place, so the term describes the place from which a person makes a value judgment. Your internal locus of evaluation is like the due north on a compass. When you hate yourself, your due north, what everything always points to is observing and finding proof that you are a bad person and deserving of the hate or dislike you feel towards yourself. Your compass and your process of evaluating yourself, your worth and value, your positive and negative attributes is skewed towards confirming your lack of value and goodness. And it can be relentless. Sometimes that voice or those thoughts that surge and attack you are externalized. The negative critical comments get projected onto someone else. They sound like this. They must think you're an idiot for doing that. Look now, she thinks you're an embarrassing person, or he must think you look so ugly right now. This type of criticism tries to legitimize itself by jumping out of your own mind and into the mind of others, acting as a mind reader for those around you and how much they must and most certainly think you're foul or an idiot. Don't fall for it. All these assumptions, this feeling that those around you must only be able to see the bad in you, stems directly from your own thoughts about yourself, from your locus of evaluation. It assumes because you think or feel stupid, embarrassed, ugly, etc., that others must think the same about you, even if and when most likely they don't think that at all. Positive compliments, praise, and acknowledgement alternatively are received as lies or with skepticism. They must just be saying that to be nice. None of the good things about me they say are true. Again, do you see the absolutes and extremes here? The belief that somehow you can't be simultaneously a bit awful sometimes, but still have good attributes that don't cancel out one another. This balanced view doesn't serve self-hatred, because the locus of evaluation is off, and constantly searching for its due north of you being bad, stupid, wrong, and when it fails to get you to think those things about yourself, it tries to recruit others around you to help. And this is why self-love plays a very important part of healthy emotional connection as well as resilience when it comes to interacting with others. Because on the occasion where someone does think you're wrong or stupid, it's not healthy or sustainable for that to rock your world the way it does when you already feel badly about yourself. Your worst nightmare confirmed. You've been found out. You're more likely to believe and internalize negative evaluations of yourself, even if they're not true, if you already think badly of yourself. And no one, absolutely no one, should have that kind of power over you and your sense of worth, your value, your deservedness of love. If you assume every person that does criticize or mock, ridicule or hate you is right and justified in doing so, you have given the right to judge your worth and value to someone else. And that's playing a very dangerous game because that was never meant to be their responsibility. Nor should you entrust that to someone else who can decide one day they may adore you and the next day you don't deserve happiness or kindness, or worse, that you don't deserve to live. That may seem dramatic, but we see it online all the time. Nobody should ever have that power over you, your quality of life, or your right to live happily. No one but you. Imagine a point in your life where somebody does criticize you unfairly, unkindly, calls you all the names you've called yourself, and instead of taking it in and letting it fester and torment you, you are able to access your internal sense of worth and value, the truth, and say, no, you're entitled to your opinion, but I know that's not true about me, and truly know it and believe it. That is what I want for you. And the only way to do that is to learn to love yourself first, to fix your internal locus of evaluation that's set to self-hate, and begin to grow healthy respect and value for yourself the sustainable way. Rather than try and dive headfirst into blind adoration for yourself, begin on neutral ground, with yourself as you are, just a human being. Not that great and not that bad either. Acknowledging this is the basis and beginning of building a more balanced equilibrium, one centered on truth and respect, not disproportionate criticism or egotistical self-aggrandizing. To continue on the friendship comparison, most of us didn't start out speaking to our friends the way we do now. The affection, the closeness, the love grows. It didn't start that way. Imagine if it had, if you professed undying love and extolled all your friends' virtues and promised to never acknowledge their faults from day one. You'd be viewed as weird and promptly dropped before a friendship could even begin. The relationship you build with yourself is the same. The thing about those of us who struggle with self-esteem and therefore pay a lot of attention to our own behaviour and the behaviour of others is that we have a pretty good bullshit detector, and that includes when it comes to ourselves. So fakery, self-aggrandizing, sugarcoating is only going to make us feel sick, and worse than that, painfully disingenuous. And that's never a good place to start any relationship. So what I am suggesting is the fundamental and simple building blocks of neutrality. It's a beautiful thing. Not perfection, not irredeemable imperfection, but balanced and realistic middle ground of being neither. Of creating more space for the possibility that with inherent imperfection, that we all have, it is possible to still just be enough.